Here's my analysis of the Republican minor candidate debate. First of all, it's not really a debate because it is really a joint press conference. Even Karl Rove, who is a mainstream conservative Republican, admits that this is not a debate. And it's obvious that it's not a debate. Why? It's not one-on-one or even two-on-two. Each debater does not choose the questions that he wants to ask the other debater. So it's the journalists who control the agenda and the questions, and they don't know the questions that the debater wants to ask. They ask what they think is important. So in the debate or this joint press conference, you cannot focus on the reasoning that supports the differences on public policy between two candidates. So that is why it's not a real debate. If you want to see a real debate, watch some of my debates with a good format where each debater asks the other debater the questions and we focus on the reasoning that separates our conclusion about what to do. That's the most important thing. So with a flawed procedure, you're not going to get optimum results. Now, in this debate, I would point out that Bobby Jindal made a strong point about the people in Congress not supporting the Republican promises that they had made. In other words, talking a lot about the problems, but never voting or passing laws or repealing or obstructing or preventing Obama from doing everything he wants to do. I thought that was a good point. Perry, instead of specifying exactly what he would do, he relied mostly on his record and talked in vague generalities about what his position is. But most of these candidates, they don't specify exactly what they would do, except for Santorum, who did say that he would propose a specific flat tax with a specific percentage. I think it's a 20-some percent. And Carly Fiorina, who really grabbed my attention, has had my attention for a while, is the one who, in her opening statement, said that she would unlock the potential of the American people. And that gives you an insight into what the proper function of the government is. It is to protect our freedoms so we can create the prosperity, we can create the jobs, we can create the happiness that we deserve. It's not the government that's supposed to deliver all these things. And she's really the only one who thinks in that way. And this became even more evident in a debate when asked what she would ask Trump. And she said that she would ask him what principles he would use to determine how to govern, what principles he would govern by. Now that gives you an insight into her mind. She's the only one that referred to principles. And this is a grade above everyone else. You can see, and I've seen her before in other interviews, she's a smart cookie. And the reason why is because she thinks in terms of principles. Now, maybe they're not all perfect, or maybe there's some conflict between them, but this is a far superior level of thinking. You cannot do anything well in life unless you identify the principles. You can't understand anything unless you identify the principles. Now, did the journalists ask any of the candidates what their principle was? No. They have to rely on Fiorina to tell them what they should ask Trump. We'll see in the next debate, the primetime debate, the major candidates, whether they ask them that principle. Whether they ask them that question. I doubt it. But even if they ask it, they need time to thresh it out like I do in my interviews. If you see my interviews, I often ask for the principle and they give some vague generality. And then we have to examine exactly what the principle means. Are there any caveats? what is the context, etc., to understand the thinking of the person that's in front of you. If you don't know their principles, you don't know them. And you cannot predict what they will do, and you cannot know who to vote for because you don't know what they will do. That's the point. Without knowing the principles, who knows what they're going to do? So, in my view, Carly Fiorina was the winner of this debate because she understands best of all the candidates there that what is the function of the government. And she was saying that she would unlock the potential of the American people. That's the kind of focus. She also referred to principles. You have to have principles to govern by. Besides that, if you've ever watched her in any interview, she's a smart cookie. And let me tell you, that lady also has courage. She is courageous and brave in her personal life, in her willingness to go out and fight, and her willingness to take the fight to the adversary, to the opponent, to demonstrate why they're mistaken. And if you want a candidate to win, they definitely need to do that. They can't be milk toast. So, in my view, Carly Fiorina won this debate. And of those candidates there, definitely she's a peg above all of them. Talking about the issues a little bit, on jobs, most of them didn't give anything specific. I told you before, Santorum did say that he would have a flat tax. What else? Some of them referred to welfare reform that they had done or would do. Almost all of them said that they would, on a different topic, on executive orders, repeal Obama's executive orders. Perry pointed out that Trump was in favor of the single-payer system of delivering health care. Carly Fiorina pointed out a few of the things that Trump had flip-flopped on, the health care policy, amnesty, a few other things. And there weren't that many specifics and much time to even investigate specifically what they would do. Of course, on immigration, it was all about who's tougher. Lindsey Graham was trying to stake out the position of on War and Peace as the biggest hawk there. As you know, all these candidates are basically hawkish, some more than others. And Lindsey Graham is the guy who said, yeah, I'll send all the troops everywhere. Why? We have to fight them over there before they come here. With that reasoning, we could be in wars with I don't know how many countries, because whenever there's a country that hates us and tells American people to sabotage or to do terrorism here, then we have to go over there and go to war with them instead of just focusing on our own American citizens and catching them and putting them in jail when they want to commit terrorism. Well, we have to go and engage in wars everywhere in the world. And of course, they haven't learned the lesson of Iraq. They don't realize that that's a mistake, this interventionist policy. And so he's the epitome of the hawk. And therefore, I would say the worst of all the candidates. Anyway, there was, on immigration, they didn't specify exactly what they would do besides make the border, and Perry has his great plan to secure the border. And I don't know, it really doesn't make much difference with regards to legal immigration. What should be the law, the policy of the United States today? Should it be like Trump said, send all the people back, the 11 million, and then bring them from their country back again into the United States legally, just to satisfy a legal formality? wow, that is the most inefficient, stupid plan I ever heard of. If you're going to bring them back anyway, just pass a law and say that it's okay for them to stay here so you can save the expense of all the people trying to catch all these people, incarcerate them, send them back, then process them back into the United States. Wow. But nobody took a crack at that because they're all trying to be tough on immigration. So that's another flaw in the general policy. On executive orders, I think they came down well. Almost all of them said that these executive orders by Obama are unconstitutional. They're legislating when it should be the job of the executive to execute the laws, that Obama's doing whatever he wants and that they would repeal them. So let's stay tuned for the next debate, and thanks for your attention. Bye-bye.